Pursuit of passionate love is one of the strongest motivations in human beings. The need to feel loved is so important that when people feel they have lost a source of love, the pain can be almost unbearable. One can lose passion in a number of ways, for instance, when one's partner falls in love with somebody else. But that is not the only way to lose love. You can experience a loss of love when your partner has not even left, sometimes even when they are still sleeping beside you. The passion is gone and the lovers grieve over its loss. Why does this happen? When a couple is unhappy, or when they feel they are just going through the motions, there is usually something in the relationship that is restricting self-expression and passion. In this film, Working with Husband and Wife, Robbins will resolve one of the most common problems that prevent couples from living the life they deserve. The film also offers practical strategies for improving your communication with your loved ones. Most of us during the course of our lives will experience in some form the loss of love and the loss of passion. If you were ever caught in a situation where you were damned if you do, damned if you don't, you will learn a great deal from this film. Our story begins in the Gold Coast of Australia during a week-long Anthony Robbins Leadership Conference of about 2,000 participants. Those attending are Fortune 500 executives, college students, entrepreneurs, homemakers, and professional people from all over the world. During this conference, Robbins typically calls upon those participants who are experiencing the most serious life challenges. In this case, he asked for those who were experiencing suicidal thoughts. As Robbins deals with someone who is considering suicide, he illustrates practical methods anybody can use to resolve conflicts, problems, and restrictions. In this case, Robbins calls on a young Australian woman, Karen, who is so unhappy in her marriage that she has attempted suicide to get out of it. Robbins will begin by assessing Karen's situation. He will then call the husband who lives nearby, asking him to come to the conference in order to resolve their problem.
So why don't we start with this lady right here? Give her a hand, she's suicidal. Give her a hand, she's suicidal, for God's sakes, give her a hand. What's your name? Where are you from?
Karen from the Gold Coast.
Karen, okay, Karen. You're from the Gold Coast and you're suicidal? There's no hope for you.
Robbins often uses colorful language in order to manage the tone of the conversation. In this case, he started off with a joke, getting Karen to laugh before she starts describing her problem. Since Karen is in the back of the room, Robbins is watching the details of her expression on a television monitor placed at his feet.
So you're suicidal?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I get to that point when people are putting me down and I don't feel like I'm good enough.
So people put you down. What do I got to say to put you down?
Robbins' first step is to try to assess the problem by asking the participant to be more specific about the triggers that cause the suicidal thoughts.
What does somebody got to say to get you to be suicidal?
It's just a point I get to when I feel really desperate.
Right. What makes you feel that desperate? What do you got to focus on or hear or see or think about?
I feel like there's no hope for myself. I feel like everybody hates me.
Everybody hates you. Okay. And are you planning to do it with a razor blade or a knife? Thought about a gun or sleeping pills?
Pills.
Pills. Oh, so you're a wuss.
Robbins inquires about the method of suicide in order to find out how much she has actually planned. He calls her a wuss in order to join with her in an affectionate way that makes her laugh.
Doctor.
At this point, he discovers that provoking her is a way of bringing her to a happier
Mike Jr.,
state.
and we call him MJ.
married?
And my son brought him over, and
Do you love
MJ
your
at that
husband?
time was about 14 months old.
I don't
And Mike
know
had him
anymore.
on his hip, and you know how a baby will
Does he love
straddle
you?
the hip, and Mike came in, he was holding the
Well, why
little
don't you know
guy,
if you love him or
and
not?
Mike and I were talking, and in college, Mike was a debate
I
champ,
feel
so
like he's the
one of the
same
things we do for
person he
fun
was
is
when
we
I
take a
met him.
topic and take
Is
the
he
opposite
abusive to you?
sides and just go at
No,
it.
but my
And so we
first
were having a really good debate, and he was holding
So
little
this one
MJ. Now, my son has
So
an
how's he
arm
different?
movement that he uses when he
He's
debates that he
totally
likes to use
opposite,
to intimidate.
to the point
He
where
goes like
I'm
this
the one
big
that's
arm
trying to
movement.
take
And little
control.
MJ, he's watching Dad,
But are you
watching
telling him
Grandma,
what to
watching
do because
Dad,
you like
watching
to tell him
Grandma.
what to do
And when he
because it makes you
figures
feel
out that we're
certain,
all
or are you telling him
through,
what to
gets
do
a big
because
grin
there's
on
no
his
other
face and
choice?
goes,
It makes me feel certain.
and Mike said,
Does
oh,
it make you feel
Mom.
significant to tell him what to do?
I said, welcome to parenthood, son.
At the time I'm doing
He is
it, yes,
going
but
to learn more
afterwards I feel
about
bad.
how to act
Yes.
and live in this
Karen
world by
has
your
just
words and
presented
your
her
actions
central
than
problem.
anything else that goes
She is
on
unhappy with
out
her
there
husband
in the
because he
world.
is not who he
Leading
used to
by
be.
example. You
In
see,
her
the word
worldview,
is
there has been a
congruity.
reversal of power.
When you walk your talk,
She implies that he should be
you know what?
making
When
the
you walk your talk,
decisions, and she
everybody
is
wins.
unhappy feeling
And when you
forced to
don't,
make decisions for him.
unfortunately, everybody loses.
She describes him as the
I think that
opposite
a
of her
leader
first
today needs to
husband, who
start
was
each morning.
abusive.
Before you start your
Now
work,
Robbins
say to
inquires
yourself,
about her
what message
purpose
am I
in
going to
life
send today by
in
my
order to discover
example?
what motivates
What
her.
message am I
So what's
sending
life
to the
about?
people
What's
that are
life
going to
supposed to be
follow
about?
me
Life
and
is
try
about
to
what?
help
Why are we
them
here?
to be the best that they can be, leading
happy.
by example. Now,
So since
also,
you're a
what do we
total
want to
failure at
focus
that,
on?
you might
We
as
want
well
to
not be here.
focus on continuing the professionalism that you have
What
all
has to
brought
happen for
to
you to be
your
happy?
industry through this designation. Continuing professionalism.
So if you don't know what it takes
Always
to
to
be
be
happy,
as
and that's
good
what
as
you
you
have to
can
be
be.
here, then maybe you're not happy
How
just
many of
because you
you
don't
have
rules to
ever
be happy.
ridden with what
Would
I
you
would
like to
call
hear
a
some rules? Because I've met so many
professional
people
taxi
around the
cab
world who have
driver?
different rules for happiness. Would you like to hear
Have
some?
you? I'll tell you, in my city where I live,
Here's one
San
sample.
Francisco, everything is
Man
built
came to a
up. As you
seminar.
probably know, there's no real
Very,
estate
very
and nothing is
successful
built
man from
out,
the
it's built
United
up.
States in business and
our
financial
front
terms.
door
Very
is
famous person.
56 steps from the street.
Very well-loved
The bad
person
news
by a
is,
large
when I
number of
call a
people,
taxi
primarily
cab
because he's
driver to
also a
take me out to the
philanthropist.
airport to go
He's
off
one of
and
those people
speak
always,
or
even though
whatever,
he's so busy, he always finds time for things.
they drive up, they
in his
see those
community, which
steps,
is a
they're
very
not
large
coming up
community.
those
He's
56 steps.
very
They
respected.
pull up in the
He's an
driveway
athlete as
downstairs
well.
and
He
they
runs
just
marathons.
honk the
He runs these
horn.
businesses.
And I have to
He
drive
makes
my
about
bags
$4
down.
million a year
I got up early
US.
one morning. I was
He
going
has
across the
5
country,
children.
early flight.
His
I
wife
called,
loves him dearly.
and they said, well, Cab will be there
I
in a
asked
few
him,
minutes.
"Are you
It
successful?"
wasn't just
as
a
a
few
joke,
minutes. It
and he
was
said no.
instantaneous. Bam, the front
And when he said
doorbell
no,
rang.
at
And I
first I
said to
thought he
Bill, I
was
said, honey,
tongue-in-cheek
who could
kidding,
be
and then
here
I
so
realized he
fast?
was
For heaven's
serious.
sakes, it's so
So I asked
early.
him this
And
question:
I went to the
what
top of the
has
56
to
steps.
happen
I opened
in
the
order
front
for you
door.
to feel
There was a man
successful?
standing there.
He said
I was
a lot of
shocked to see
things.
anybody. And let me
I
tell
said,
you what he
that's
looked
obvious.
like. Gentlemen,
What
do you
has to
remember
happen for you to feel
when there was
successful?
a
You know what he
time
said?
that you used to
He
like to
said,
wear
well,
what we called
I have to never get frustrated with my
leisure
kids.
suits?
And he's got 5 of them. What's his chance of getting frustrated?
Green.
The law of averages is going to
Big
be
fat
frustrated with
wide
him, yes
tie,
or
too
no?
short, couldn't tuck
You
in
better
his
believe
trousers.
it. I
A
said,
little
okay,
Irish
what else
cap
has
on
to
his head
happen for
and
you
a
to feel
smile
successful?
from ear to
He
ear.
says,
and
I
he said,
have
good
to have
morning.
10%
I'm here
body
to take
fat,
you to
and
the
I'm at
airport.
11.
I said, you're my cab driver. He said,
True
I am
story.
indeed. Do you have any bags?
What else has to happen for you to be successful? He said, I have to make at least $5 million a year. And he makes $4 million. He actually makes usually $6 million because he gets bonuses, but bonuses don't count. Because it's only the money that's absolutely guaranteed that counts. What else has to happen? He says, well, I have to be in a position that I don't travel so much, and his business requires it. So as you listen to this whole thing, here's a man who should be totally feeling successful, but most people stand up to feels miserable. Now I asked another man in the room who everybody liked because he was the life of the party. He's just a crazy mofo. And I said, sir, I said, are you successful? And he stood up and he said, of course. And I said, what has to happen for you to know you're successful? He says, I have to wake up, stand up, look down, and see that I'm above ground. He said, every day above ground is a great day. So that was his rule. Now, which of these two men do you think was happier, the first one or the second one? Which one felt more successful, the first one or the second one? So you see, how you feel has no basis in reality, has the basis in your rules. And what you're telling me is you don't have any rules for happiness. So you don't know when to be happy.
Robbins believes that it is essential to have a base level of happiness in order to cope with and overcome the many stresses of life. In order to have a healthy and happy quality of life, it is essential to know what makes you happy and to specify ways in which to feel happy each day.
Because he doesn't do anything to make me feel that way.
And why do you think he doesn't do anything to make you feel that way? Is that why you're depressed, by the way, truthfully? Isn't that the real reason? That you feel like you're trapped in a relationship where you're so unhappy
Yes.
and you don't have the guts to get out? Or you're afraid you make a mistake to get out?
I'm afraid I'll do the wrong thing. I don't know what's the right thing to do anymore. I've already been through one divorce and I don't want to muck up this one if it's the wrong thing.
So the bottom line is you don't want the identity of having been divorced twice. So you'd rather stay miserable where you are.
I don't care about being divorced twice. I care about hurting him if it's the wrong thing.
But you're already hurting him.
Yeah.
If you're unhappy, trust me. Men, if the woman you're with is totally miserable and unhappy, are you happy? Are you hurting if every day she's unhappy? Are you hurting inside? Yes or no, men? Give her an answer. So you're already hurting him. So if that's it, maybe you should put him out of his misery.
When faced with an obstacle, it is important to define it as a problem that can be solved or a question that can be answered. Robbins has reframed Karen's problem as a decision that she has not been able to make in relation to her marriage. She is not happy with her husband, yet she doesn't want to feel responsible for hurting him by leaving him. Robbins is looking for ways to move her to take action that will make her happy instead of killing herself. He will now show her that by remaining indecisive and unhappy, she is being dishonest as well as hurting him and herself.
Do you present yourself as the happy wife to everybody else?
Most people, yeah.
Oh, so not to everybody.
I have a close friend that knows better.
Well, actually, there's about 1,100 Aussies
Yes,
here. The word's going to spread. There's a network here like you can't believe.
But generally, yes, I do pretend otherwise.
So you pretend that you're happy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I see. Could you do that for me right now? Show me the pretend I'm happy thing. I'm not depressed, I'm happy. I'm actually happy.
Yeah.
Don't be looking for an Academy Award, okay? Do you really think people buy this shit?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so everybody knows you're unhappy already then, don't they? Not just your friends, other people know too, don't they? Even if they don't say anything. Can you see it in their eyes that they know you're unhappy? Okay, so why are you acting like something you're not when everybody knows the truth?
Karen has been coping with her unhappiness by pretending to others that she is not unhappy, thinking that they would therefore think well of her. This way of coping is not helpful. Robbins makes this clear by reversing her logic, stating that people think poorly about her because she's pretending to be happy instead of doing something to resolve her situation.
What does your husband think about your state? You guys talk about this at all?
We never talk about anything.
Does he know you're depressed?
Yes.
Yes. Do you tell him that you're depressed?
I didn't tell him that. One of your people told him that.
Is he here?
No.
Oh. One of my people? I have people now?
Yes.
Who are my people?
One of the people that rang me after UPW.
Oh, I see. So one of those people told him that you're depressed. Does he know you're suicidal?
Yes, they told him.
You kind of smiled at that moment. You just did it again. Isn't that interesting?
Robbins has identified an incongruity between Karen's verbal and nonverbal communication. As she talks about her husband's worry about her suicide attempt, which is evidently sad, she smiles. This could be a sign that her suicidal behavior has been a source of power over her husband.
Like, nothing else, I'll kill myself, then I'll get his attention. Of course, you really aren't suicidal, because if you're suicidal, you've already killed yourself, because it's not a complex task. Especially if you're going to do it in pills. You could have done that easily. All you do is pop them, there you are, and you're dead. Now you live on the other side, and you get to have pain like you never thought of.
But that's what scares me, because I have tried.
You have tried. Oh, come on.
No, I
Tried? How hard is it to kill yourself? Don't tell me you're that stupid.
No, I did take them.
You did take what?
The pills.
How many?
About 3 bottles.
And what happened?
While I was unconscious, I got up and I was thrashing all over the house and somebody heard me.
Shit. I wonder why, even your 3 bottles of pills, you would get up and thrash around.
I don't know. I don't remember it at all.
I know. Is it possible there's a deeper part of you that knows the truth, that you need to stay alive, and that that's not your real intent, and so it found a way to overpower 3 bottles of pills and still make sure you got help? So clearly it's not that you tried. Clearly there's no desire in you to commit suicide. There is a deep desire to get some attention, isn't there?
Yeah.
You're settling for attention because you don't feel the love.
Yeah.
Karen tells the story of her suicide attempt in order to convince Robbins of its seriousness. Instead of acknowledging her wish to die, Robbins recasts the story from the point of view of her desire to live. She thrashed around even while unconscious, and so expressed her wish to live, which Robbins elevates above her desire to die. By saying that what she really wants is attention, he defines a problem that can be solved. Once she admits the need for attention, he carries the logic a step further, saying that she's willing to settle for attention when what she really wants is love. Immediately, he takes the conversation back to her husband.
So why didn't your husband come here?
We couldn't afford for us both to come.
Okay. So he sent you?
Yep.
Hoping you'd get fixed.
Yep.
So I'm supposed to fix you, and then you can go back and he can go about doing his business and stuff.
Yep.
What if I fix you and you leave him?
Well, I've told him that might happen.
Oh. So if suicide doesn't get him, threatening to leave him might. Boy, we got all kinds of weapons, don't we? Oh, look at that big smile. Yeah. For somebody who's not very gutsy, we got some pretty good-sized knives.
Yeah.
Karen stood up like someone who had no options and therefore had to kill herself. Now she acknowledges her sources of power and the option of leaving her husband. However, she is still reluctant to make a decision. It is possible that she is afraid of the consequences for her husband. Robbins will ask about that now.
So what did he say when you said he might get fixed and leave him?
He's upset. He doesn't know what to do.
Let's get him on the phone. Do you want him to come down here? Do you want him on the phone?
Yeah, that's fine. I want to sort it out with him. I need to sort this out.
If you'd already sorted all this out with him, what would you be doing? Staying or leaving? Tell me the truth. You know the answer. Don't tell me you don't know. If you'd gone through and you sorted all this out and we had all this discussion and it was all done, what would you be doing? Would you be staying or leaving, honestly?
I still don't know whether to leave him or not.
Say again?
I still don't know whether to leave him or not.
So you know that you would be willing to try to commit suicide but not leave him?
Robin suspects that Karen really wants to leave her husband. He asks her to make a guess about what she will decide at the end of the conversation, but she is unable to guess. Robbins alleviates her dilemma by offering ways she could leave the marriage without feeling that she is hurting her husband by doing so.
Right now, you have no intimacy with him, I assume. You guys don't make love, do you? When's the last time you guys made love?
I can't remember. A long time ago.
Well, then why don't you just leave and be friends? Because that's all you are. I mean, if you have a friendship, do you have a friendship?
Yes.
Well, then why don't you end this marriage and have the friendship? Because that's what you have. There's no intimacy between you. The only difference between the person you marry, you don't marry somebody just to have as a business partner or a friend. You can have lots of friends. He can be a great friend for you. But you're dead inside.
I guess I haven't because I wanted to know if the problem was me or us.
You want to know if the problem was you or what?
Me or us.
Right.
And if it's me and I can fix it, I will.
Oh, you will? Okay, well, let me just tell you, the problem's you. Because you're not telling the truth and you're not being yourself. And let me tell you, the problem's us. Meaning he's not being himself and telling the truth either, is he?
No.
So everybody wants to figure out whose problem it is. Whose problem it is it's your problem. And if he was here, I'd be telling him it's his problem. Because you're both you have two people you have no relationship because neither one of you is being yourself. So you both have these relationships with these fake people that you're pretending to be. So the fake people have sort of a relationship. I guess they're roommates.
Robbins has now defined the problem as both Karen and her husband lying to themselves and to each other, pretending to be something they are not. His goal will be to get the truth about their feelings.
How would you characterize the relationship?
Well, like you said, we're just friends. We're just